lot of us have been tired of having the same things being at the top of the meta in the finals for a while now, but in Season 4, big changes are coming. I'm going to go over all the meta shakeups that I anticipate happening, with the major changes coming in Season 4. A quick thing that I'm going to mention first before I get any comments on it is you don't have to use the meta. You can use whatever you want. Someone using the meta can be bad at the game, and someone not using it can be doing good. This is just a discussion video, and I'm not telling you what you have to use. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the discussion. I want to start off with these specializations. Two of the most meta abilities in the higher levels of the game, Mesh Shield and Heal Beam, got hit really hard. Mesh Shield now only has 500 hit points and now has a cooldown that must be finished before you can activate it again. And Heal Beam heals even more slowly now. I'm really unsure about the Mesh Shield change, as I didn't really think it was much of a problem, but regardless, Mesh users are going to have to be a lot more careful about when and how they use their shield. It definitely will still have a use, but it's kind of crazy how much this has been nerfed each season. The Heal Beam nerf, on the other hand, was in my opinion very necessary. There was few things as annoying as going up against a triple medium heal team, and the fact that if you managed your healing correctly, you could keep consistent heals on 2 heavy teammates while they were fighting was a little bit crazy. Now that it's been nerfed, I feel like there's a little bit more competition between the other medium specializations, which brings me to another big change, which was the Dematerializer buff. This made it so that dematting things is a lot easier, as it has a larger area of effect now. This should help with consistency in maps like Vegas and overall give it some much needed ease of use. And now that Heal Beam got nerfed, I don't feel quite as bad about running this or Turret. Okay, now that we've talked about those things in comparison to each other, let's talk about how each of the classes are feeling individually this season, starting with Heavy. Let's get this out of the way really quickly. Heavy is still really fun and a good pick. I expect even more people to be playing Heavy this season actually, but there were some major nerfs that I need to go over. There was a change to the Mesh Shield I mentioned just recently, but now RPG has also had its damage reduced, and now only has a max of 100 damage, which means it's still good as an almost guaranteed area of effect damage option, but it shouldn't feel as oppressive to go up against 1 or even 2 as sometimes happened. I want to emphasize once again that this does not make the gun useless. A lot of people overreacted when the Dome Shield got nerfed and said it was completely pointless, but I still consider the gadget to be a must pick if I'm going up against other high level players, and RPG will probably be no different. It's just not as much of a free kill on someone as it used to be. However, in terms of Heavy's weapons, I've got only good news for you all. The dual 50 cals are really fun and also really good. Lewis and M60 both feel better this season, and none of your other guns got a nerf as far as I can tell. Also with the landmine changes, which I'll discuss more soon, Pyro Mines still get to keep both charges, so if you're a Pyro Mine enjoyer, you'll be doing quite well for yourself. So in conclusion, Meta Crutch Heavies that rely on their Mesh Shield, RPG, and a Heal Beam teammate got nerfed really hard this season, but almost any other playstyle is completely fine, if not slightly better. Hopefully this will incentivize more creativity in heavy loadouts from now on in the higher ranks. So what are my predictions for the absolute most meta picks for Heavy this season? This one is going to be a bit harder for me to anticipate than last time, but I still envision that RPG and Dome Shield will be very valuable at the higher levels of the game. I think C4 will still be a decent option, and I could actually see more heavies using Pyro Mines or Frag Grenade than previously. Barricade has remained unchanged, but I anticipate a lot more mediums using DMAT this season, which I will discuss more in a moment, which is basically a direct counter to that playstyle. Lewis Gun, SA-12, and the new dual 50 cals will probably all be the top picks for heavy players this season, and I could see arguments being made for the KS-23 and M60 as well. I think we will still see Mesh Shield at the higher levels of the game, but I definitely anticipate it not being used in normal lobbies as much. Charge and Slam and Winch will still be great options, and I'm really hoping that Goo Gun makes a surprise appearance in the meta this season, although I don't think it will. Medium is in an interesting place at the moment. Dematerializer feels like the best thing to use after the nerfs to Heal Beam, and honestly, I don't feel that bad about it. Heal Beam always kind of felt like that if you don't pick this, you're throwing type of specialization at the higher levels of play, but now we might see some more variety in the mediums you face as well. AKM should feel a little less like a constant rain of bullets, and the Pike feels ridiculously strong, at least in the playtest, but other than this, I don't see the medium weapon meta being that much different than what it is right now. Glitch Trap Spam got nerfed as it only has 1 charge now, however you can still have 2 down at the same time. This just means that you can't enter a fight by immediately locking down an area with the glitch, as mediums in Season 3 were essentially doing a lice job but better. You can still use it as a way to deny a defib on someone or to get some valuable info or shut down abilities. You just have to be a little more careful with your placement now. Landmines also got a similar treatment, which means that you should hypothetically be dying to random landmines a lot less. These changes made gas mine stocks go up as they kept both of their charges. Data Reshaper now also has 3 charges instead of 2, but the gadget still suffers from being a counter pick option. If there's a lot of things like landmines in your lobby, it's going to be a fantastic pick, but if there aren't a lot of placed gadgets, it's going to be borderline useless. However, with the latest changes to mines, if you're running a Data Reshaper, you should probably be able to take care of any landmines for your whole team. So what will the medium meta for this season most likely be? Since defib hasn't got a nerf, at least in the preview version of this game, I think it will still remain the best option for medium players this season, especially with the glitch trap nerf. Jump pad and zipline still remain great options for your team, and frag grenade will probably be in a lot of loadouts as well. And even though glitch trap did get nerfed this season, I still think it's going to be used fairly frequently at higher levels. The weapons for this season will probably be the pike along with the AK and the model, with some people running either the FAMAS or the FCAR instead. I also thought during my personal testing of the weapons during the preview event that the dual blades felt a lot more consistent, and if that's the case, we might see a couple more dual blades users floating around. And finally, for light players. Light actually feels like it's in the best state that it has ever been this season, and it got a few buffs and nerfs that could change up the items that most people will end up using. None of the specializations got any major changes, at least as far as I could tell, but there were a few changes to some of the weapons. Notably, the LH1 can now get a scope, but it does give the weapon sniper glint. Also, the V9S and M11 can now get red dot sights, and I anticipate the V9S in particular to get used a lot more this season. Throwing knives also seemingly got a velocity increase, and dagger can now hold the backstab for as long as you want, which drastically improves the ease of use for it. But even with these changes, I still expect the XP54 to be the dominant choice in most lobbies, especially because the range wasn't changed, at least in the preview event. I think that the V9S and LH1 might compete with it, and I assume that sword users will still be present as well. As for gadgets, glitch is going to be a little more useful now, as glitch mines got nerfed a fair bit. But with the nerfs to heal beam and mesh shield, which were the biggest reasons to use glitch grenade, using this gadget might not be as necessary at higher levels as it once was, but we will really have to wait and see. Frag grenade is still really useful, and in a surprising but not unwarranted change, breaching charge was given 3 charges instead of 2. This means that if you need to break a wall as a light, odds are that you'll have at least 1 charge at all times to do so, or you could potentially drop a cash out down 3 floors. Gateway got a massive nerf, making it so that you can't throw anything through it. It's still great for pacing, but that and repositioning are now its only use, so we will probably see a bit less gateways this season. And we probably will see more tracking dart, as it now has 4 shots in its mag. As for thermal bore, I still could see some people using it, as the ease of use is still much better than breaching charge, and it can still ignite gas and goo, which make this gadget really versatile. Stun gun will also still be great for defending cash outs, and smoke grenade and thermal vision still need more buffs for them to be seen as a worthwhile pick to use over the other gadgets at the top levels of the game. Alright, so what loadouts do I expect to see this season for light? The good old XP54 plus glitch, stun, and gateway will still probably be used, but we might see some people swapping out glitch and gateway for frag or a breaching gadget. But honestly, most of Light's exclusive gadgets feel pretty equally balanced at the moment, and I think that's a good thing. In terms of class compositions this season, I think that medium heavy heavy might finally be over with the nerfs to heal beam, and the double RPG strat, while still good, won't be quite as effective. We still could see a bit more medium heavy, and maybe even triple medium teams with all of them using the pike. That does sound really scary. Light medium heavy is probably more viable now than it has ever been, especially since the nerf to RPG. Overall, I'm actually much happier with the meta that I've seen in the preview event for Season 4. I think that a couple guns could get brought up in power, such as the bow, 93R, and the MGL, and I also think that Pyronade could be brought up a bit as well. But overall, I really think things are much more balanced than they have ever been, and a lot more gadgets and weapons are going to be competitive at higher levels of play. So in general, pretty good balancing for this season. Subscribe if you want more weekly videos on the finals, and I'll see you next time.